As a rule of thumb, MMA fans hate arrogant fighters and gleefully revel in their humiliation when they take a loss, especially when it comes in devastating fashion.
I knew he was gonna bully that motherfucker! I knew it!
But for every single rule, there are always those rare one-off exceptions that defy logic and common sense.
Shout out to
and turn into
MMA
fan
Joey.
favorites despite being full of themselves to an almost comical degree, with the most recent example being Ilia Topuria.
En primer lugar, agradecerle a Charles, la verdad, por haber aceptado el reto, ¿no? Algo que Islam no hizo y tiene que pagar el precio por Islam. La verdad, me da mucha pena por Charles, pero bueno, al final del día es mi trabajo. No sé, con Oliveira, la verdad que lo que sea menos doloroso para él, eso es lo que haré porque me cae muy bien.
The crazy part is he's genuinely trying to be nice in this clip by saying that he'll put Charles Oliveira out of his misery through the least painful method he can. But considering that Charles has devoted his life to the sport of MMA, holding a ranking within the top 5 of the lightweight division for years while also being a former champion, completely brushing him off as a non-threat that's fully at Ilia's mercy is objectively insulting and condescending. And that's not even close to the worst thing that he said about him in the past while trying to be nice.
When you got 10 losses in your record, that's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 10.
Yeah.
Like, when you're walking with a guy that has 10 losses, the level of confidence is completely different. It's completely different than when you walk in with a guy that it's undefeated.
Right.
He's a dangerous guy in the striking, in the ground game, everywhere you look at him, he's a dangerous guy. He never takes a lose. That's a different mentality. You gotta have to kill him to give up. He's not gonna even give up. You gotta have to kill him. In the case of Charles, if he finds some adversity, he's gonna go to the ground. He's gonna sit and he's gonna be waiting like till you end up the fight.
There's nothing friendlier than labeling someone a quitter, the most taboo thing you can be in a combat sport.
Everybody
Obviously,
called him that. That's crazy. Everybody called Charles a quitter, except for Islam. I feel like Islam didn't call him a quitter, but they were just saying he was going to dominate, and he did. They were right. It is what it is. But let's just keep going.
Sarcastic, because saying that about any fighter, let alone one with as big of a loyal following as Oliveira, is grounds for getting the.
That's where it was. I forgot, and that's where it was. They all say Charles is a quitter, which is, you can say whatever you want, but Justin said it. He subbed that dude. What was it, the first round? Finished that dude. Dustin said he was a quitter, finished him, I believe, what, the second round? Like, I don't understand why they keep coming with this narrative. It's dangerous, but if I don't think Charles is a quitter, but I think Ilia is going to win.
Majority of the fan base to want to witness you getting your head bounced off of the canvas. And in Ilia's case, some probably do, but overall he manages to be more endearing than annoying, and in my opinion, that's due to 2 factors. First of all, he's so over the top with some of the things that he says that you just have to chuckle at what must be going on inside of his head to even think that they're appropriate to vocalize. Like briefly changing his nickname from the Matador to the Legend because he was so in awe of himself for moving up a weight class.
Mucha gente es lo que siempre digo, necesita ver para creer. Yo primero me lo creo y después lo veo. Entonces el apodo que me va a acompañar en mis próximos combates va a ser la leyenda.
Listen to the reaction of the crowd before they realized that he was expecting them to clap. That was a collective pause to figure out whether he was joking or being serious.
En mis próximos combates va a ser la leyenda.
Part of Ilia's charm is that his narcissism is as real as it gets. He's not faking it
It's
for
like
cameras or
Kenny
trying to
Florian.
convince himself. Like say a Colby Covington who rehearses all of his lines and still
that Kenny
manages to
Florian?
stumble and bumble through them like someone is holding a gun to his back and he's scared to get them out.
In America, where I come from, we like to quote the great poet Lil Wayne.
Ilia is legitimately his own biggest fan, and that alone makes a lot of people want to see him win because they realize that he's actually borderline insane. So his unreal levels of smugness come off in a natural enough way to be entertaining. But of course, the key reason why his persona works is because he's a legitimately amazing fighter, so up until this point, everything he said has been backed up in the octagon. But he has been a loss away from finding himself thoroughly ridiculed before as well. Most notably during the build-up to his fight against Alexander Volkanovski, where Ilia decided to do his best Conor McGregor impersonation, harping on Volk's age and skill set, while Alex chose to play into the trash talk and showed up to the pre-fight press conference dressed up as an old man.
You know, most of your opponents in the past have, said that they could beat you, but they offered you a lot of respect. Ilia hasn't really offered you that respect. Now that you
even compare me with his past opponents.
well, what do you make? What do you make of it? What do you make of that energy that he's bringing? That
Shut
lack
the
of.
f-
What
up,
do you make of
everybody.
that?
Shut the Shut up. Shut up.
I think this old man needs to
Shut
teach
up.
this young fella a lesson. What do you reckon?
Hey, you see how he came dressed? You already know what's going to happen. You just came ready for the retirement. Look how you look as an old man.
Get a good spanking, that's what's gonna happen, hey?
Volk was absolutely destroying him by doing nothing more than having a good sense of humor, which made Ilya look like an immature tryhard by comparison with his ultra-serious slander, leading the crowd to boo everything he was saying as he got more and more bent out of shape.
Stand up and do something. Humble me. I'm here, right in front of you.
Wow.
The good thing, it's
You getting ripped up,
very
buddy?
educated person. I don't wanna slap.
You see me in an old man outfit, now he wants to be a hard fella. Hey, how about that?
Sit down.
The fact that Volkanovski mimicked an old man with bad hips as he was standing up made Ilya look even goofier,
Yeah, it
especially
did.
since it was blatantly obvious to anyone who followed the sport even a little bit that he was completely ripping off Conor McGregor's unhinged performance during the pre-fight press conference for UFC 229 back in 2018.
I'm right in front of you. Did you not see me outside the bus now? You little.
I love Ilya, but he definitely still tries to copy Conor. He's called out Conor to fight even recently, right? Before he was like, if they offered me that fight, I wouldn't take it. He's not a real fighter, and he said all this shit. But then he very recently said he would fight McGregor. He loves McGregor. He's got the same tattoo. You don't want to know something wick whack? I got the same exact tat that's on Nick's back. Yeah. Shout out to Eminem. But he's got all the same, he's got tattoos matching Conor. He loves Conor. That was his idol, but clearly not what Conor has become. And I think Ilya is already much richer than Conor, but that's a whole nother story.
Fool, right in front of you. Do something about it. Do something about it. Yeah, you'll do nothing.
I don't know why Ilya decided to channel this Conor specifically, since this was one of the times where he was made to look like a complete lunatic because Khabib wouldn't engage, not to mention the loss that followed that still lives rent-free in Conor's head to this day. And had Ilya lost to Volkanovski, the narrative around him would have been the complete opposite to what it is today as well, with fans analyzing every bit of his pre-fight trash talk in order to rub the humiliation of losing in as much as humanly possible. He put himself in a sink-or-swim position that could have easily ruined his career, but fortunately for him, he ended up brutally knocking Volkanovski out, thereby validating his words and making further statements like these weirdly appealing instead of annoyingly delusional.
You should put that
I don't
mic
want to do it again
stationary.
because I
my
like
guy.
Volk and I know what's going to happen if we face each other again. But maybe the next time, instead of knock him out, I will submit him. So maybe I'm gonna change that to have different type of clips.
Saying that you might submit Volk next because you want a different type of highlight clip is absolutely insane. Because it's Ilya Taporia and people not only believe
That's
that he believes
hilarious.
his own words, but know deep down that what he's saying has at least some probability of being valid makes the statement hilarious because of the
Yeah.
hyperbole. And that puts him in the rare category of fighters right next to early Conor McGregor that are ridiculously cocky but aren't just
Love it.
watched because people want to see them lose. It's a high risk, high reward strategy to managing your career because, like I mentioned earlier, one loss could easily turn you into the laughingstock like it has so many fighters in the past. For example, Alexander Hernandez's antics prior to his fight with Cowboy Cerrone turned him from a promising young prospect to the butt of every joke for years.
Yeah.
I just see myself facing an insecure little lad swinging on a saddle with a pop gun and a feather in his hat.
I'll tell you this, little friend, I'll be sending your geriatric ass and yee-hawing back to the stables on Saturday.
Similarly,
He was
James
talking
Vick
crazy.
never quite recovered after having to eat his words at the hands of Justin Gaethje.
It's your last main event. You're about to be on a 3-fight losing streak and shipping your ass back to the B League to fight tomato cans again.
Ilya has already accomplished a lot more than most, but I venture to say that if he loses to Oliveira, the narrative still has a big chance of flipping. I can already hear it now. Ilya was never good. He fought Volkanovski when he was coming off a TKO loss, and Max
Then what
Holloway
about
was
Max?
weight drained, so that doesn't
Oh,
count either.
no,
He's still taking
no.
a risk with every single fight by talking as much as he does, and he's currently at the crossroads where you can either legitimately become a legend without having to give
Is that really a thing people are saying about the Max fight? He was weight drained? Nah. and cutting that nigga no bail. All right? No bail for that nigga. He got knocked out, and it was a legit finish. This nigga's getting no bail from this YouTube channel.
Give himself a nickname or open up the floodgates of years of backed up hate, but as long as he keeps winning, him being arrogant just works. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.
Shout out to GeeKay, man. Shout out to GeeKay. Shout out to the GOAT Ilya, man. That's part of what I've been saying about Ilya. When I watched this dude, even before the Volk fight, especially like right before the Volk fight, his aura, he had this glow about him. All right, I could see it. If you guys go back on this channel and watch when I was watching Embedded, I was like, holy shit. There's that one moment where his family, everybody are chanting Ilya. They're like singing Ilya. It was this whole crazy chant, and he's just there grinning, and all these people are surrounding. They got flowers, they got all these roses, and there's just this crazy moment, and I could see the glow on Ilya Taporia, and I was like, his profile had already said UFC champion, featherweight champion, right? And in that moment, I was like, dude, this is his moment. He's gonna do it. Look at this dude. He's glowing. He's got the fucking glow. And he went in there and knocked out Volk. Then he went in there and knocked out Max. I love Ilya Taporia. I want him to fight Islam. Win or lose, dude, it's so cool thinking of the prospect that he could go in there and beat Islam. They're like, oh, no, I don't need to fight him. He's too small, is what they're saying. They're going to be like, oh, I just beat another featherweight. But what if he went in there and beats Islam? I still want to see the fight. He says he wants to beat Charles and then move to 170 to fight Islam if Islam beats JDM. And I want it to happen, ladies and gents. But head on over to GeeKay's page. Give him a like. Leave him a comment. Let him know Mama sent you. But thank you guys for being here once again. Again, as always, hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave a comment, ladies and gents, and I will see you guys soon. I'm more Francis Ngannou. I be the biggest problem out of any nigga I know. A little old school, like some 45 vinyls. You niggas old duels, what that do to the wino? I do it the commercial way, pay without the splits. Went and got my own.